not technological constraints. The guy to really interview here is a guy at Stanford called Nick Bloom, who's actually a Brit, although he's at Stanford. But he's the guy doing the really heavy duty research into this. And he's generally what I'd call long-term optimistic. There's another very interesting paper which is called The Zoom Boom by an economist called Noah Smith. I think that might be the subtitle. But he also sees this as being something which will really deliver the gains to productivity in the medium to long term, not in the short term. I think the data we're getting in the short term is to some extent an irrelevance, and we should ignore it. One of the great things about being a human is we have enough vision to go through pain to get pleasure. Okay? And I think this is one of those cases where we should say there will be short-term disruption. I get very amused, by the way, by those reports. I suspect that some of those articles in the Telegraph and the Times ranting about everybody must get back to the office, I suspect they're funded in some shape or form by the commercial property industry, right? If you had loads of articles going, hey, smoke cigarettes, they're great, everybody would say, I bet those are funded by the tobacco industry, right? Okay. Now, when you get a load of articles going, everybody must get back into the office, there's no substitute for co-location. True, but not 5 days a week, okay? I suspect a lot of those articles are kind of weirdly funded by the commercial property industry to an extent, or they're just grumpy people who basically are close to retirement and are pissed off that the younger generation might have access to a freedom that they never enjoyed. It's a bit like fagging in public schools. The people who'd been through fagging were the people who are really opposed to the abolition of. Actually, American listeners are going to get totally confused by that. So I'm going to stop this. Fagging does not mean what you think it means. It was a system where younger boys acted as personal valets and servants to older boys. And you're okay, right? Okay, I think I better stop now. I suddenly remember the American audience. But there may be an element where old people are grumpy at the idea that they had to work 5 days a week in a bloody office, and they're damned if these young people can get away without doing it. Dog in the manger. Okay. There are lots of reasons why those articles are written. I think those articles are dumb because the intelligent thing to say is this is a worthwhile experiment.